Greetings from the hangar. This is your captain speaking. Aviate Nate here. In today's entry from the pilot's logbook, I want to share a couple of stories. Both memorable, both meaningful, and both packed with lessons. One was a bit painful. The other, unforgettable in the best way possible. You'll see what I'm talking about on today's episode of Aviate Nate.
Clear to land, runway 21, Mooney 58 X-ray.
Let's start with a moment that cost me about $600 and a whole lot of ego. When I first flew out to Denver to pick up my Mooney, I had to complete 10 hours of training with a qualified instructor before my insurance would kick in. I linked up with Paul, a fellow Mooney owner and a great CFI, and we started training out of Greeley, Colorado. Now I'd flown before, but the Mooney, it's a different animal. Fast, manual gear, and a workload that felt like it was always a step ahead of me. So, there I am, maybe on my second or third landing attempt, and I make a classic mistake. One of those you hear about it in flight school and never think it'll happen to you kind of mistakes. I landed with the brakes on. For those who haven't flown much, here's the deal. Your heels should be on the floor during landing. To use the rudder, you push with your feet. To engage the brakes, you push with your toes. If your heels are off the floor and you're tense, it's really easy to unknowingly ride those brakes. I touched down and almost instantly blew the right main. Couldn't taxi, couldn't move, closed down the airport for a few hours until a crew towed me off the runway. Quarter-sized hole straight through the tire. Super embarrassing. But that's how we learn. So let me be the one to tell you, don't land with your brakes in. Keep those heels planted. Stay relaxed on final. And remember, the brakes will not help you get the plane on the ground, so ignore them until you're there. Now, let me flip the script and tell you about one of my favorite flights. This was a long solo cross-country flight from Illinois to Virginia. Moving day, actually. My brother, our two cats, and I loaded up the Mooney and flew east to our new home. The day before, we scrubbed the flight because of weather. Visibility over the mountains wasn't good enough, but the next day, conditions improved. And after checking, double checking, and pacing for a while, I made the call. We're going. I'll admit, it took everything in me to make that go decision. My brother isn't the biggest fan of flying. I had pets on board, and it was my longest solo cross-country to date. But the flight went perfectly. Smooth air, smooth ride, smooth landings. The cats were quiet. My brother was a great co-pilot, and when we touched down in Virginia, my parents were waiting at the hangar. That is not something I'll ever forget. Family, homecoming, and the kind of experience that reminds you why flying is so special. So what did I learn from that one? Believe in yourself. Respect the risks. Listen to your gut, but don't let doubt be the loudest voice in the room. Sometimes you've just got to trust your training and go make the memory. Have you ever made a mistake that turned into a lesson? Or had a flight that reminded you why you fly? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Thanks so much for watching. Until the next one, this is Aviate Nate, and you can be my wingman anytime.
Clear to land, runway 21, Mooney 58 X-ray.